So first I'm going to create a folder. Can you guys see my screen? Hello, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, you can see your screen. All right. I'm going to create a folder now. I'm going to call it my website. So, my website. So I'm going to open this folder. I'm going to create a new file. New. Go to file. Folder text. Trying to create a file there. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it index.html. So it says if you change a file extension, the file might become unusable. But then I'm naming it HTML, so you don't need to worry about this. So I'm going to click yes. So you can see the icon here has changed. The icon here I'm seeing is my Firefox, because Firefox is like my default browser on my laptop. You can open it with any browser. I can decide to open this with Chrome. I can decide to open it. So if I open this on my Chrome, I'm dragging this here to Chrome. You can see that it is empty. Obviously, because there's nothing there. There's nothing in the document. I just created a file, then obviously there's nothing there. So I'm going to open this with a notepad. Let me open it with a notepad. Notepad, yeah. So I can say hello. Let me just say hello world. Hello world. Hello world. Let me add a exclamation mark. Let me save this and run this on my browser again. Okay, if I refresh, so now you can see that what I wrote there obviously is is rendering on my browser. So I can decide to add other text to my content. Say another line, hello, name, so if I save this and run it again, you can see that what we have here, the way we have it here, obviously is not the same way we have it on the browser. It's slightly different because I wanted my hello, my name is Tomlayo Damlola. Sorry, I made a mistake here. Damlola. So I wanted my hello, my name is Tomlayo Damlola to be on another line, but unfortunately it's just everything is just joined together. So the web browser does not know whether you want the lines to be like on another line or something. You're just sending it as a text. So it's just seeing it as a text that does not have any tag. So that's where we come about HTML tags, because the browser needs to understand how you want the web page to be structured, everything, how you want them to align, where you want me to have a text, where you want me to have a new paragraph, when you want me to have a bold text, when you want me to have like a picture or something. So that's where we come about HTML tags. So here I can decide to say H1. I can just decide to just put only this H1 here and save this. If I save this and refresh, you can see that the entire code is is bigger now, and it has like a bolder look. And that's because I added this tag to it. And this tag means it's showing that, okay, everything here is supposed to be H1, but I wanted this hello world only to be like the only one. So that's where you have to specify which one you want to have like the bold text. So that's where we come about the closing tag. The closing tag is in form of, it has a slash right after the brackets, and the whatever element you want to call. So H1 means the header text. We have about 6 header text. So this goes down to, okay, let me just show you the outcome of this first. So you can see now that the hello world here is the only one that has the header styling now. It's bold, and it's like the only one that has head. So the other ones are like the normal text. So the browser can tell now that, okay, this is what you want me to style as the header. So like as I was saying, the hello world, the hello world, if you want it to be like a slightly like smaller, that's why we come about like um having the different levels of header elements. We have up to 86. If I call this 86 now, and I run this, I refresh, you can see it's a bit smaller, but obviously this is not what we want, but I'm just using it to explain to you guys how H6 makes the text like a lot smaller. You can decide to use H3 as well. You can decide to use H3. If I save this and I refresh, obviously it's a bit bigger, but it's not as big as H1. So H1 is like the highest, and H6 is like the smallest. So I'm just going to leave this as H1. H1. So there are different tags. You can add a paragraph to it, because if I say if I want to add another statement here now, say I am teaching HTML course, and I save this and I refresh, it's good. Definitely it's going to be on that same line. And I want to tell my browser to put it on a different paragraph. So that's where we come about the P tag. There are different there are lots more tags, and I hope we'll be able to cover majority of them in this course. So if I add a P tag to this one as well, let's add a P tag to it, and I'm going to close it right here. See. So you can see from what I just did that everything is it has paragraphs now, and they're like spacing. So obviously the browser knows now that we're specifying that it's a paragraph. You have the first paragraph here and second paragraph here. So we can have, there are other tags too. If you want to emphasize on a text, let's say I want to emphasize on my name now. You can use the EM tag. That's for emphasis. So you can close it here. So I want to emphasize the Tomlai or Damlola. So if I refresh this now, you can see that the text is now in italics. So you also have the I tag. They basically almost do the same thing. It's just in terms of probably when you're reading the code, that's when you see that the EM and the I are different, but visually they are actually doing the same thing. If I do the I tag and the EM tag, they basically do the same thing. So you see Tumlai or Damlola here, and obviously there's no difference. So if I also there's a bold text. if you want to make the front-end developer bolder, we can say strong. You can either use strong or B tag. So if you say strong, you can see that the front-end developer here is a lot bolder. So you can use the B tag as well. It's basically showing the same thing. So you can see it's the same thing. There's no difference. So you can as well write a list. Let me say I like, okay, these are what I like doing. So I can create a new line. Let me say watching TV to playing um listening to music. Stuff. So if I save this and I refresh my page, you can see that obviously this is not looking like a list or the way I want it to be. If I want something to be like a list, so obviously there are tags to use for you to specify that, okay, this is actually, so we can we have two types of lists. We have the ordered list and we have the unordered. So the ordered list is OL. We use the OL tag for the ordered list, and we have the UL tag for the unordered list. The difference between the ordered list and the unordered list is basically the numbering. Ordered list is numbered with numbers, while unordered lists are bullets. So obviously there are bullets. So if I want to do that so that you can see what I mean, can use this with another P tag. So instead of me numbering it here myself, I can just easily say ordered list. I'm going to open it. I'm going to close it back here. Yeah. So this is the tag for an ordered list. So if I want to, I'll open it and I'm going to add the li tag, which is for the list itself, like what I want to list in the ordered list. So I'm going to open it here and I'm going to close it back. Li. So I'm going to copy this because I'm trying to list three items. So if I paste this here, paste this here as well. So I'm copying each of them without the numbers, without the numberings. If I copy this, sorry, copy this. Okay, let me just copy here, paste this here, and this here, here. Listening to music.
Can you speak louder?
Sir?
You are not speaking louder.
Oh, please, please, if I'm not audible enough, please let me know. Because please let me know if I'm not speaking. Is it clearer now, sir? Mr. Abbas?
It's better, but sometimes you just go as if you are whispering in the bedroom.
Sorry.
So you need to increase.
All right, my bad. Okay. So if I save this now and run my copy, you can see that this is looking better than what we have here. Obviously, what we have here is better than this. This is not, the browser does not understand that I'm trying to create a list of items or anything. So this is how to create an ordered list. So if you want to make it, if you don't want you don't want it to be ordered. You want to like probably you don't want it to be like in a particular number, and you want to create an unordered list. Just copy this to make my work faster. Okay, so I can just change this to like the UL instead of OL, and I save this. So if I run this, you can see that these numberings are in bullets, while this one are numbered. So that's just the major difference between ordered list and unordered list. So what I have here in my notepad, this entire thing, it's not readable enough. If I want to have this code to be checked by, maybe if I write this code now and I want to give someone else to write them, I feel like they might not be able to understand what I'm writing. That's why the HTML code should be written in form of a tree kind of thing. So the parent tag should always be before the children. So let me show you what I mean. In this kind of case, if where I have OL, so this should be slightly in front, like this. So for better for their readability. So this is the way HTML code should be structured. The parent should always be in front, while the children should be like slightly ahead of parent tag. So we can also write comments for other people to be able to understand what we're trying to do. So if you want to write a comment, you basically use in HTML. If you want to write a comment, let me show you the slide. Okay, so here we have it. This is how HTML comments are written. You basically use opening tag with this. So if I copy this and I paste this, so this is a comment. It's not going to show in your web browser once you already structured it this way. Once you already add the tags, obviously it's not going to show. You're just trying to show the person that's reading your code that okay, this is what you're doing, and it helps it helps you to show people that okay, you know what you are doing and you're trying to explain it in your code base. That's why you're writing your comments. So here I can just say my favorite things. So if I save this and I run it in my browser, it's not going to show because it's obviously a comment. So it's not going to show in my browser, my website. So this is basically the major some of the HTML tags that we have. If you have a question, please let me know before I go further. Does anyone have a question? All right. So if there's no question, then let's move further. So obviously, most of these tags you can't say you want to memorize them each time, but it's not once that you get to know them, but as much as you use them, then you get familiar with them. So if you use them very often, then you shouldn't have a problem with them, and it will just be a part of you. So moving on, I'm going to move to VS Code. I'm going to write the same thing with VS Code, so I can show you the easier way to to write your code and structure it, and it's way faster than the way it is using the notepad. So if I use my VS Code, okay, let me just open what we have currently. It's my VS Code. So I assume you guys are familiar or you've heard of VS Code. So if I open this, this is initially what we have. But uh in HTML we structure this is not the ideal way to structure an HTML code actually. But I was just doing this to show you how it works and how what you have can show on the browser. Sorry, let me make this a bit bigger. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, this should be better. So initially, let me just comment this whole thing out. If you want to comment, you simply use control and slash, and I assume that should be commented out. So this entire thing, instead of writing this whole thing, you can simply just highlight what you want to comment out and just hit the control slash and everything is commented out. So if I run this on my browser, again, if I save this and I run it, obviously we don't have anything because I commented everything out. So an ideal HTML code should have the doc type, the HTML. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to show you easier way to use your HTML skeleton instead of writing everything from the beginning. You can simply let me write it here so that control control sorry it's shift plus exclamation. So if you hit this command on your HTML, once you already name your index.html file and you hit this command, it will basically create an HTML skeleton for you instead of writing the entire HTML skeleton. So if you hit this, so if you hit this, it's going to bring an exclamation and you click this very first one. So you can see. So instead of writing the entire HTML, head, the body and everything easily, you can just hit the shift and this exclamation mark and you can have everything on your VS Code. So I'll explain each of these tags for you so that you can understand what it means. So this doc type means it's just you telling your browser that you're find the particular version of HTML that you want, which in this situation it is HTML5 because that's the latest version of HTML. So this is you telling your browser that you want a particular version of HTML, which is the latest one. So HTML tag, obviously we're writing in HTML, so we have to start the entire thing with HTML. We have the header, the head tag, sorry. The head tag is for everything you want to be in your head version of head part of the page. It's not in the page itself. It's not in the body of the page, but it's just the head part of the page, which includes the title of the page as well, as you can see in my VS Code. Let me close this out here. So this title is like the title of the page. If I save this and I run it, you can see that the document I wrote here is what that's showing here is what you have here. So if you say my web page, and I save it, And I save this and I refresh. Obviously, you can see now that the title is now my web page. So going further, the ed tag, it does just basically handles the title and the meta tags as well. You shouldn't worry much about these meta tags, these both tags, because you just use specifying your viewport and the device width and the initial scale as well. It's not something you should worry about for now. So the body is what we have in this entire page that we have here. What we have in this entire page, what you can see in this entire browser, that's what we have in the body of the page. So the body is where everything in your browser is supposed to have. You body, the page of the browser. So this is a simple way where this is a simple HTML skeleton where this is how your HTML code should always be structured. This is how it's supposed to be structured. So let me clean this out. And if I say, okay, let me start my H1. You can see that it's easier for me to use my VS Code because it automatically can predict that, okay, this is what I want to use. And if I click on this, yes, and it simply closes the tag by itself. So if I open a tag, it automatically closes it by itself. If I say a P tag and I close this, it's closing it by itself, rather than you just writing it in your notepad. So if I say hello world, like I did the other time, hello world, and I say my name is Rahman. Obviously, we have the same thing like we did the last time. So moving on, okay, there are many markup languages that add special tags to the text. Obviously, we've done this. If you want to say my name is B, so this B obviously is the bold tag. So yeah, HTML means hypertext markup language. Like I said, HTML allows us to define the structure of a document of the website. HTML is not a programming language; it's a markup language, which means its purpose is to give structure to the content of the website. The title, this is the title. Yeah, like I said, we already have the title tag. So we want to be on the tab title of the website. Obviously, this is what you use the title tag. So next slide. So the basic rule of HTML uses tags with attributes, can contain other tags as well. So that if we have a tag name here, we have attributes. So you can call attributes inside a tag, especially the opening tag of every HTML element. This is the tag, and we can add attributes to it. So by attributes, we mean we can give them a class. Can give them a class and call it let me call it label, or no, let me call it first name. So this is an attribute class. This class here is an attribute, and this first name is the value of the attribute that we have here. So the reason for this class, I'm going to get back to it in a short period of time. I'm just trying to show you what an attribute looks like and the value as well. So moving on, it stores all information that must be shown into the user. There are different HTML elements for different types of information and behavior. The information is stored in like a tree-like structure, like I said earlier, nodes that contain nodes. Just the way this is structured, you see, this ed tag is is in front. This is like the parent tag, and this is way ahead of the ed tag. So this is like the children tags. So they're like they're structured in a tree like manner. So the information is stored in a tree like manner. Nodes that contain nodes inside called DOM. So they're called document object module, which is each of the tags, what they contain, that they're basically called DOM. So it gives the document some semantic structure. This is a title, this is a section, this is a form, which is helpful for computers to understand website content. It must not contain information related to how it should be displayed. That information belongs to CSS. So you don't need to pull, you cannot say HTML should tell you this is the color of the text, or this is the color, this is how the text should look like. That's basically the job of the CSS for styling purposes. So let's look at this example syntax. If I copy this, okay, if I
Take
copy,
15 minutes break.
so
You need to take 15 minutes break.
all right, so
All right, thank you.
okay. So we'll be back in would
Let everybody stay on the call so that I will not be looking for answer.
so we'll cover the example after 15 minutes. Thank you.
Na 2 minutes to
Maybe you can start your class. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are you guys here? Hello, can
Hello,
you guys
guys.
hear
You
me?
guys back? Can everyone hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. Damilola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Bashir,
Okay.
Oyedikachi, are you there? Mr. Emmanuel, are you there?
Present, sir.
All right, let's continue.
All right. So, someone, I think, Damilola Ajobewe, I think you have a question. I don't know if you've been able to resolve it. You're trying to view the HTML file on your browser. Are you here?
Yeah, good afternoon. I've
Yeah,
not
good
been able to. I don't know. I sent a direct message.
Oh,
I was
okay.
looking.
So,
Yeah.
have you been able to
No,
resolve it?
not yet.
So, what issue are you having?
The content of the browser is showing the content of the notepad. Probably notepad.
Do you
Like it's not supposed with the tags and the like. It's not supposed to show it.
okay, showing the you probably did not name your file very well. You didn't name it the .html file. Did
I
you?
named
Have you
it.
done that?
I named it as a
Do
index.html.
do you mind sharing your screen?
All right, sure.
Okay.
No HTML. Share. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I think the issue you're having, you didn't name it very well. This is .html. Supposed to be .html. You didn't add the L.
We need your help. Yes.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me just let me resave it.
All right.
Yeah, let's just see.
I think you can just go to the file and rename it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've done that.
Try and refresh now on your browser.
Save it.
Is it working now?
It's not even working.
Oh,
No, it's not. It's not working.
you're not running it on your browser now. This is your notepad. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I said you're not running it on your browser. You're running it on your notepad. You're supposed
I've
to run
saved
it.
and I'm running it on the browser. It's showing my
You
file
save it.
cannot be accessed. Yes.
You stop sharing your screen. I can't see your screen.
Can you see my screen now?
No, I cannot. Okay, I think it's coming up. Yeah, I can see it now. So
I've shared it.
I think this is
saved
your
it.
you saved it. Yeah, can you minimize
yeah.
this notepad and let me see what you have on your browser?
1 minute. I think I closed it. Let me open from the folder I have.
All right.
Can you still see my screen?
I can only see your notepad. I want you to open it on your browser.
Yeah, this is what I have.
Is it just me or your screen is frozen? I can only see your notepad. But have you tried running it on your browser? Is it working now?
Yeah, that's what I have. I'm running it on my browser and it's still showing the content of my notepad.
The problem now is I can't see your, I can only see your, maybe you should try and share your screen again. Your screen is like
Right,
frozen.
let me stop it. Let me stop and reshare. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Ah,
I was muted. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so can you go to the folder of the file that you have the this
Yeah.
index.html saved? It's not the
Can you see?
notepad, like the folder.
This is the folder. This is the folder.
Or your screen is frozen again. But the issue you're having is due to the fact that you named it .html.txt. So you have to find a way to remove that .txt. So it's still seeing it as a text document. It's supposed to be just .html.
Okay.
I don't know. Try sharing your screen.
Sharing my screen. Already.
Stop sharing and share again so that I can.
I think that was the first issue I had on that, but I have to remove the TST.
Yeah, you have to remove the TXT. You have to remove the entire thing. It's just not the name of the file. If anybody is having that same issue, just try and remove the .txt, and it's not from there, from the folder itself.
I have saved it as you should view it as all kind of files. I've done that.
Have you tried running it again?
The file type is still showing text document.
Can you share? I can't see the folder. I can only see your browser. That's all I'm saying. Like, let me see the folder where you have the file.
I've shared the screen now. I'm inside of the folder like this.
It's not showing. It's only showing your browser here. You stop sharing. Okay.
This is the
That's
folder.
okay. Can you click on rename? Can you like right click and rename it? Option and rename. Because it's still a text document. No, like click on the file first. Like put your cursor on it. Click on it just once. Just once.
The same thing.
No. Like click on the index.html first, just once, then right click. Just once, then right click. Right click on it. Rename it. Exactly. Click on rename.html. .html. Text document.
So let him use Notepad Direct instead of using this text document, because what
Okay.
I did, I have to use Notepad Direct. Once I find out
Okay.
that
Just open your notepad, then try and save it as HTML file. You get, so go to your notepad. So
Okay.
click on save as, then you see different options there.
I can see text and all files. That's what I
Click
can
on
see.
all files.
That's what I've done.
Let me, I can't see that part of your screen. I don't know why it's only like showing the last thing you did. It's still showing the folder here. I can't see your notepad.
Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So click on all files.
That's what I do. Okay.
No, wait, sorry. Hold on. I think you have different separate files now in that particular folder.
That's one file.
The HTML. Can you go to file name? Can you click on the file name? Like, no, the drop down. Index.html. Okay, just leave it, close it back. So click on, can you save it probably on your desktop so that it will be like a different file?
All right.
Exactly, just leave it on your desktop. Save.
Okay.
Can you
So I
can
should
you try
go
and look? Yeah, go and open it from
locate
your
it from the
browser.
desktop. Okay. From my browser or from the, I should just refresh the browser, or I should go open it on the desktop.
Go and open it on the desktop with your browser. You can either drag it to your browser or just open it directly. It should open from your browser.
Same thing. The dot text is still appears there. It's the same thing that is showing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. You know what you do? Just try and name another file, like create another file entirely.
Okay. Let me do
So I
that.
don't know why it's automatically naming them .txt. It's supposed to like initially be. So just copy what you have here on the page. Exactly, copy them. Exactly. Then paste them. Then save as yeah. So you just name it. Can you try and name it something else? No index this time.
Not index this time.
You just use maybe blog.html.
Okay.
Also.
Okay.
So any luck?
I'm trying to open it from my desktop.
All right.
What this is. Save as. Got it. So
Is it coming up now? Are you there?
yeah.
It's working
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's working now. Thank
All
you.
right, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So does anyone have any other issue? So before we move on. Okay. I'm going to ask question so I can be sure that you guys are following. Damola, your screen is shared.
All right. Thank you.
Can you stop share? Okay. So like I'm going to ask someone a question if that's fine. Mr. Oyetade, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So can you tell me the difference between the ordered list and
Sir?
can you tell me the difference between the ordered list and the unordered list tags of the HTML?
Can I tell you what? Sorry,
The
sir.
difference between the OL tag, which is the ordered list, and the UL tag, the unordered list.
I think the one is it will number it, right?
Yeah.
Where the other one is at this bullet format.
All right. So which one do you think is the bullet format?
The OL.
On
Yeah.
ordered list.
Other list, yes. Is the one with
Nah, the UL is the UL is the bullet tag. That's the
bullet
unordered
tag.
list.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's good. One more question. Thank you, Mr. Oyetade. Let
Yeah,
me
welcome, sir.
ask some. So, Mr. Bashir, Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I'm here.
what 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 are you using for making it?
Uh, you are not audible.
Can you hear me? Is it
Not
audible?
really.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now.
So I said, what tag do you use for the bold, and for what two tags do you use for the bold? Like you want to make a text bold.
All right. B and EM. M.
B and what?
EM. M.
Um, you go one correctly, then the other one is not strong actually.
Oh, and strong. B and strong.
Yes.
B and strong.
All right then. Let's just move on. Thank you guys. So I will share my screen now. Oh, sure. So there are other tags in HTML. We're going to cover that in this part of the course. So we have tags like input tags. We have tags for audios too. You can use your audios, you can use your inputs. Let me so we have the div tag, we have the image tag, we have the A tag, which is the called anchor tag. We have the P tag for paragraph. We've already used that before. The H1, the header, the input tag, which is for text fields. The style tag is for CSS. The script tag is for JavaScript, and the span tag is for a null tag. So if you have something, it's basically just a tag that you just want to differentiate between other ones. It doesn't do anything. It's just a null. So moving forward, I can show you the different types of. Let's start with the input tag. So we have input tag is written in input, then it's a self-closing tag. So a self-closing tag basically is a tag where it automatically closes itself. It's not like having like a closing tag this way. It's not written like you can write it that same way, but easily you can just close it by itself because it's just doing one thing. You don't need to put anything in between them. That's why it's a self-closing tag. So if you leave it this way, I save this and I run my code, you can see there's an input field here. So you can type anything inside as well. So the input tag has different types of attributes. We can give it a type attribute, which is very important and it's necessary for you to specify your types when you are using the input tag. So we have different types of types. We have the button type, we have the checkbox type, we have the color type, we have the date type, we have the date time type, we have the email type, we have password, radio, range, search, and so on and so forth. So for example, we want to use it for password. If I specify that I want this value to be password, and I save it and I refresh. Whatever I type here, it's automatically in the password format. You can see that you can see what was here. So this is basically if you go to any website and you see something like basically that's what they use. It's a type, it's a password type of it's a password attribute. So you can use other attributes as well. Email. You can use email attributes where you can okay, sorry. It has to be if you want to validate this, you have to add the at tag and you can see please enter the following tag. You already said it, you already specified that you have to add the at and the com to it. So without that, it cannot validate. So you have the dates. I think you have the date as well. Save this. Check. You can see that the format open. Now he has he's taking in date input. So you can see. There's another one. Okay, let me just take them down so it can be easy. So we have other types. We have the radio. If I refresh this, you can see there's a radio tag here. So there's another self-closing tag you can use. If you want this radio to be on another line, you can easily just say break. This BR is a self-closing tag as well. If you use this break tag, it will push this input to another line. You can see it here. It's already like on another line. So BR tag basically is called break, and it basically just pushes your element to the next line. If you want your text to be on the left line, you just use that. So you can have a text. A normal text input is you can just specify it as text, and if you refresh, you can see. Let me put it on the next line as well. Here. So you can see that we have this on the next. So if you want to have like maybe if you want to write something, maybe an information about this field, you can always use the placeholder. So there's an attribute called a placeholder, which basically just lets you know what's with a label for the placeholder, anything you just want your client to know about. Let me say let me just use this as username, or let me say input your username. If I refresh this, sorry, I made a mistake there. Username. So you can see that we have the user input your username for like specification for the client to see that okay, this is what this means. And we can have another placeholder. You can simply have a placeholder for different input tags. You can have it for password as well. So you can say input your password. Let me so you can see your password input here. So let me comment this out. Okay, let me just leave it. So there's another input you can use. You can either use a button. If you want to create buttons, you can either use the input type for button, or it already has his name. It's already pre-filling it for us. That's a good thing about using VS Code. So rather than you trying to like specify that okay, this is what you want to type, it basically pre-fills it for you. So you can specify that this is a button. If I save this, you can already see that this is a button. And if I want to name it, let me say log. Let me sorry. ID, okay, the name on the label, I think. Okay, sorry, it has to be we have to add a closing tag to input. I save this, add English. So there's sorry, there's a label for if you want to write like the label. So I'm trying to figure that out for I think it should be value. Search for okay, I think it's the value. So if you want to just put like the value of what you meant there, just basically log in. So this is where we have it here. You can either use the input for a button or a button tag. There's another tag called button instead of if you don't want to use the input tag. So you can use the button tag. So we have button here, you can log in. Basically the same thing. So you can see that they are basically the same thing. So you can either use the button or the input tags, whichever one there is fine. So moving on, we're going to go to image tag. Image tag. So this is how the image tag should be. We have the src and we have the alt. So the src is where the particular file is. So let's quickly go online and look for a picture. Let me look for a picture of let me see cars. And okay, let me just pick this one. And I'm going to save this. Save image as what's the name of the folder? Okay, my website. So I'm going to name this. Let me just rename it so that it's easy for us to locate. So let me say car.jpg. So let me see I'm trying to locate okay, our website. So if I save this, you already can see that we have it already in our folder. You can view it in my VS Code. You can see it. Sorry, am I audible enough? Please let me know if I'm not audible. So we already have the picture in my website folder. So if I want to target it, I'll simply do slash and we say car.jpg. This slash simply means you're trying to find the directory within this my website. So that's why we're adding this slash to it. So slash car.jpg. So it's basically saying that's where the directory of this particular file is .jpg. I can as well say, okay, let me create it. Sorry, let me say image or images and move this file here. I'm moving this car to images folder. So it's already in the image folder. So if I want to locate it now, it won't be the same way I'm doing this. I should have something like slash images slash car.jpg because obviously it's the images folder now. If it was that okay, it's in the same folder as this, then I can just keep it as slash car.jpg. But now it's in the images folder, so I'll do images slash car.jpg. So I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying here. Is it clear? Hello guys.
Yeah.
All right. So this alt is used for situations where probably there's an issue with the internet or and it's not loading. You're trying to play your file on a viewing website. This is one. So you can just write a description for the image. You can just say car image or something like that. So if I save this and run it, you can see it's not even showing, but then we can see the alt here. So okay, the file is not showing, and we're going to figure that out. Okay, let me change this directory to cars. Let me see that. Okay, okay. So basically, I'm adding this to change like this dot means you're trying to go out of this folder. You're trying to leave this particular folder to the previous folder, which is the images folder, and you're adding this particular image to it. As we go into the course, I think you understand this better. how this directory works as if you want to change your directory. So the image we have here, it looks very big, but obviously it's because it's not styled. So, but this is how it will look like if you're adding an image. You can use CSS to add your style, different ways you want the image to be. You want it to be like a lot, smaller, because it's obviously too big and not looking so nice on the web browser. So I'm just trying to show you there are other tags as well. We have the audio tags, we have the video tags, but for now we're just covering like the basics of it, which is the images, the button, and the input. So moving on, but yeah, you can see it here. We have the button tag, we have the tried using the button tag, we have the audio tag too for playing audio, we have the video tag for playing a video, canvas is just for drawing graphics. These are like the tags that can be useful. And so moving on, wrapping the info. We use HTML tags to wrap different information on our website. The more structure has the information, the more structure has the information, the easier it will be to access it and present it. We can change the way the information is presented on the screen depending on the tags where it is contained. So we shouldn't be worried about using too many tags. So you shouldn't be worried about using too many tags in trying to use it, because obviously there are like different tags that are useful for different things. So you can see there's a different situation where we have the div. The div means the divider. The span is obviously a null tag. And here we have like a header tag, we have the article tag, and so on and so forth. So okay, tagging correctly. Obviously, this on the left is wrong because you're basically using the div tag to show your title. Here is some content and here is more content. Whereas this is like the best way to do it. You have to specify and tell your browser that okay, fine, this is like your title and this is your content, and it should be wrapped in p tags. This one as well should be wrapped in p tag because obviously it's a new paragraph. You're trying to create a new paragraph, so it has to be wrapped in the paragraph tag. So title as well is supposed to be wrapped in the H1. Is either H1, you can change it to H2 or H3, anyone you want, whichever way you want it. So this, it shouldn't be this way. You should specify. You shouldn't put spaces between in your while writing your code. You shouldn't do something like this and say you want to write maybe like a div tag and maybe say hello, my name is John Doe, and say you want to go to another line and create space and say um goodbye. This is not acceptable because the browser does not see these spaces that you left here because it doesn't understand English. It's just the tags that you understand. So you have to specify the particular tags and how you want it to be structured for your web page. So moving on, HTML good use. It is good to have all information properly wrapped in tags that give it some semantics. We also can extend the code semantics by adding extra attributes to the tag. Like I said earlier, you can add IDs to a tag. You can add classes to a tag. So IDs, they are like a unique identifier for each of the tags, and classes are like generic identifier. So that's the main differences between IDs and classes. Classes you can use multiple classes for you can use multiple elements for just a particular class, whereas you can only use one ID for just one particular um element on a website. So for example, if we have something like let me comment this out. This And let me comment this as well. Awesome. If you have, we can have a div here. The div stands for division tag. So we can have a div. We can say we can say orange, and we can have another one. We say apple. So if I save this, so we can have, you can have a div, we can have a attribute, we can have the ID for this particular one to be orange, and we can have a class for this to be fruit. So we cannot name this particular item again. We cannot give it the same ID again. We can't say that, okay, we want to add this ID of orange to apple. It will not work because we IDs are unique. They're supposed to be unique. You can't name two different items the same ID, so you can't repeat. But you can, what you can do here is just name this same element here that we have. We can name it fruits. The reason why this is done is because for better styling, basically, and for in cases where we for JavaScript, because the IDs are being targeted and they're supposed to be unique. That's just the way they are structured. So moving on. Okay, we're moving on to CSS now. So does anybody have any issues they have with HTML before at least we understand the basics of it, but still going to come back to certain things about it. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Please indicate and let me know. Okay, no one has question. Can anybody tell me like what the difference between a class and an ID mean? Like the differences between the ID and the class. Hello? Someone was trying to speak now. Hello? Is anybody there? Can anyone tell me differences between
Use class.
who's that? Hello?
Basil, Abidemi.
Okay. Hi. So do you want to tell me the difference between class and an
Yes,
ID?
I want to attempt it.
Okay, all right, thank
I
you.
want to attempt it.
All right, I'm listening.
Use class.
Sorry, you're not audible. Can you speak louder?
For further use in CSS. For further use in CSS and ID in JavaScript.
Okay, but you can, but so you're saying that we can't use ID in CSS?
Yes. Okay. No. We use ID in CSS for further
Okay.
usage in JavaScript. ID for further usage in JavaScript and class in CSS.
All right, thank you. So, actually, we can use both of them in CSS, and we can use both of them as well in JavaScript. But the way it's just structured is in it's ID. They are not repeated or used for two things. They are just unique and they have to be attached to just one element at a time. You can't say you want to use an ID for multiple things at a time or multiple elements at a time. Thank you very much, Abidemi. So Does anybody have any other question or anything they want to add or something that is confusing them? Please, you can speak. You can ask questions. Please. Mr. Bashir, can you mute your mic? Okay, Abdurrahman, are you asking a question?
Okay. I just want to confirm something.
All right, bro.
When I've forgotten, I don't know this, the man that talked now, he said when he replied about difference between ID and class, then
Oh, yeah.
I think you were trying to correct him, but my network was not that clear, so
Oh,
I wasn't
okay.
hearing you very well.
All right. So, like I was saying, IDs are meant to be unique. They're a unique identifier for each of the tags. So you can use IDs and classes for both actually. You can use IDs for styling your tag, and you can also use class. You can use both of them. And in terms of JavaScript, you can use IDs to you can use IDs and class as well. They're operators, there are functions that targets classes, there are functions that targets IDs. But then
Yes, sir.
your further classes, you're going to get familiar with it. So IDs and classes can be used for CSS, but the main difference is just that IDs are unique. You can't attach them to multiple tags. But classes, you can say in situation. Can you see can you see my screen? In this kind of situation now, we can have these two elements, this one and this one. They have the same class. Whereas you can't say you want to name this particular element that same ID orange. It cannot work that way. It's supposed to be unique. It's supposed to be meant for just this one. So if you want to give this one its own unique ID, you can say Apple. And yeah, this is how to use it. If you want to use the ID, it has to be different IDs. You can't say you're naming these two things the same ID. Yeah, it's supposed to be unique. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So does anybody have any other question before we move to CSS? Okay. You know what? I feel like I should, I don't know, give you guys like something to work on. So let me see. Can you guys I want you guys to write a simple HTML code that's showing the proper usage of paragraphs, ordered lists, that includes ordered lists, unordered lists, and a paragraph with an input tag. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Let me write it in the chat. We have paragraph include right info that have the paragraph ordered list ordered list. Okay, let me just say only ordered list and ordered list and an input tag with a placeholder of okay, what is your name? So you guys can check the charts. That's your classwork. So So I'm giving you guys 15 minutes. Or let's say 10 minutes. I don't know. I feel like 15 minutes is too much. Can you guys see it? Hello, can you guys hear me?
We
Oh,
can't
that's
get the we
okay.
can't
Okay,
get the
that's
message.
a direct message. Sorry. Let me. Sorry, it was a direct message. Sorry.
Okay, is it on WhatsApp?
No. This particular meeting group. Don't worry. I'm going to send it to. I'm going to send it to everyone now. Sorry, I mistakenly sent that to Damilola. So let me send that to everyone.
Okay.
So I'm sure you guys should be able to see it now. So I think this should be done in like 10 minutes, but I don't think it's hard, is it?
Yeah. So like, how should we just snap it and send it, or how should we do it?
You
How are
can
we
once you're
streaming?
done, just share your screen and let me just see what you've done. That's all.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
The system I'm using is not on this thing. So I have a separate system for the, or should
Oh,
I
okay.
should I connect the system to the Zoom so that I can share the screen? Or
That would be better. But if it's going to be stressful for you, then you can probably just snap it and send it to me on WhatsApp. Send it on the WhatsApp group.
okay.
To me,
All right, sir.
you can just send it directly to me. I don't know if you have my.
Yeah, okay. I don't know your number actually.
What's your number? But if it would be better if you can actually just share it like.
Let me just join. I will join when I'm
All
done
right,
with
no
it.
problem, no problem. So guys, by say 5:27, I'll check back. If you're done, you can.
How do we send the result?
Once you're done, you can just share your screen. Let me just see.
Or not sure about sharing. I think you are sharing. You have to stop sharing before I can share mine.
All right, are you done?
Yes.
All right. Let me stop sharing.
Can you see my screen?
Yes. Can you run this? Have you tried running it?
No, let me see.
You're using VS Code, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Watch.
No, you can proceed. No, you can what you can do is you can just save it. Have you tried saving it? Have you saved the file?
Yes, I've said it.
Just try and
Hello, sir.
yeah.
I'm having problem connecting to the meeting through my laptop because I was using my phone earlier. So can I just snap it and send it to you?
Okay.
On the JavaScript.
Let me stop sharing. No,
I will send it to the JavaScript bootcamp series 1.
Oh wait, hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if oh, I don't think any of you are in this
Which group is that?
there's a particular group that is
Diamond.
for
Okay, the one of bootcamp series 1, Tomilayo D or something, Abi.
yes, exactly.
Let me request to join. Maybe you should just add me. So I'll just
Okay.
send it to the group.
Yeah, please just request to join so I can accept.
Yeah, I've requested to join now.
Are you AR?
So, yes, I'm here, Abdulrahman, yes.
All right. I'll just
To go
approve.
for- Yeah, I'll send it now.
Okay, let me see.
Won't you need to be one African mission?
Okay, bro. Okay, this is nice. This is actually nice. Damlola, this is actually very nice. Good one. Have you sent this? Have you sent it?
Yeah, I'll send it now.
All right. Has anyone finished? Any other person?
Okay, sir. Can I share this my
Okay,
screen?
yeah, you can, yes. Thank you. Okay, this is actually nice. Okay, you added your image, so it's been from like the lesson. Oh, Mr. Oyetade. I think you're muted though, if you're saying something.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. So this is actually very nice. You added the what is your name to the input, which is nice. But I was expecting the unordered list. Was it unordered list or ordered list?
He
I
said
think
ordered in it.
okay,
He
yeah,
said
it's
ordered.
ordered. It's ordered. Okay, this is nice then. Thank you. Rahman, have you sent the
No, I'll send it now. Yes, I'll send it. I'll send it now. Like now that I'm trying to start my laptop, I'll send it now.
all right. Okay. All right. I think this is actually very nice. You guys did well. I think Onye Dikachi, I've not seen your I've not seen your I've not seen your work. Okay. So that's 5:28. Oh, Mr. Oyedikachi, are you there? Do you have any? Are you facing any
Yes,
issue?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm trying to get it right.
Are you facing any issue? Do you have any issues or you're just
Yeah.
okay? You're done?
I've been no, I'm not done. I was not how will I even say the app I'll be able to use to open it up.
Oh, okay. Do you
Like what do you call it, the browser that I will use.
do you guys want us to do it together or it's clear? But do you understand it, Mr. Oyedikachi?
We can be able to do it together, so we're able to see.
Okay. So just in
Not
case. Sorry, what did you say? Your mic is muted. Sorry. Okay, Ramon.
Okay, I mean the second part. This second part.
I sent it already.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. It's actually nice. What did you say, Oyedikachi? Sorry. Okay. Let's move on since it says it understands it. We're moving now to CSS. CSS. Can you guys see my screen? Or maybe okay, let me start sharing again. Share. . Can you guys see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen. Are you guys there?
Yes, we can. We can see your screen. We can see your screen.
Okay, you can see my slide as well.
Yes.
Okay. So CSS. CSS allows you to specify how to present or render the document info stored in the HTML. So it works hand in hand with HTML. It's just a style sheet. It's for styling your particular element that you have on your web browser. So thanks to CSS, we can control all the aspects of visualization and some other features. We have the colors, we have the margins, we have the positions, we have the sizes, we have the behavior as well. So colors definitely is the content, background colors as well. We have the border colors and so on. Margins, we have the interior margin, the exterior margin, the position, where to put it, maybe maybe a particular position you want an item or an element to be. Sizes involves the width, the height, the behavior, maybe what happens when you're clicking something or your mouse is on something, whatever happens. So that's what we call the behavior. This is a particular style guide, and you're going to understand it as we move on. So we have the asterisk property, sorry, the asterisk element, sorry. So which means all. So if you want to style everything in your, if you want to maybe reference everything in your web browser, you can use the asterisk. So if you want to use a style, if you want to start using a style, there are three different ways you can use a style. You can use an external styling, which is you creating a CSS file outside of your HTML file. We can call it style.css. Or we can say we can create a style tag here and do all our styling within this tag, within the style tag. Or we can say style and do it this way. We can style just an element. So this is called inline styling. This styling method is called inline styling. This is called internal styling, and this method is called external styling. So the best, whichever way is comfortable for you, they're all fine. You can we can let's try each of them out so that we can see. So so we can let me show you how the internal styling works first, and I'll move to the external styling. Sorry, just a minute. Sorry.
Well,
Okay. So if you want to style your page, and we want to use internal styling, which is this method where you call your style tag from your immediately before your body. You can either call it after your head, or you can call it just in the head part of the code. But personally, I would advise you call it in the head tag. So moving on, we want to use the generic styling, which is the asterisk. Asterisk. So if I say asterisk and say background color, let's say red, for example, and I save this, you can see that we have the entire page as red as background color. And you can either use red or you can either use RGB or the X as well. Any one works, and you can actually use this color picker as well to select it, whichever way it works fine. If you refresh this, we have the new color that we have. So, and you can also comment them out as well. You can comment them out. It's a different way. It's quite different from the way it is for HTML. For CSS, it's just this slash and an asterisk. Then once you're closing it, is the asterisk and the slash again. So I'll just comment this background color out. So that we can focus on the other so if you want to say color, we can add a color property. There are different properties and they are much actually, they are a bit much, but we can get to know the basics of it, and from there we get the hands on it. So you can say color, you can say color blue, save this and run it. You can see every color of the text we have on the page is now blue. Every single text we have. So that's the use of this asterisk notation, so that you can actually see that it can actually help you style everything in your entire page. So it's almost similar with the body, but if you call the body tag and say color and say blue, and I save this and I comment this one out, it's almost basically the same. You can see that basically everything, but it's not targeting some certain things. That's why it's better to use this notation, because it helps you like just everything in the entire page that needs to have a color. So this one entirely just say the body. It's only targeting like the text, the other text that are not in maybe in the button tag or the input tag. So that's why if you want to use a generic styling, it's better to use this tag rather than use your body. Body, I mean, you can use body to style just some certain things, but if you want to do a generic styling, it's better to use this notation. So moving on, you can add the font size as well if you want to have. Okay, let me list the list. Let me tell you the list of CSS fields that we have. Some major ones that we have. We have the color that I showed you earlier. We have the background color as well. We have the background image. It just helps you like specify a particular background image. The font. This font is helping you. You can use this font to either like specify your font size and the font family as well. So in this particular situation, we have the font size, which is 18 pixel, and the font family, which is Kaoma font family. So the border, in this case, we have 2 pixels solid black. So these 2 pixels it stands for the width of the particular margin, and the this solid stands for like the style, the type of the particular border, and this black specifies the color. So as we move on, I'm going to show you examples of this. I'm just trying to let you know the CSS fields that we have. So you can also specify a particular side that you want the border to be on. Like for example, we can have it on the border top. So you can just specify only this for the border top instead of adding it to entire border of a text of an element. Sorry. Border radius is just the corners, to remove the corners of of a particular element to make it more round. Margin is just the distance between the border and outer elements. Padding is the distance between the border to the inner elements. The width, you can either make it 100%, 100%, 300 pixels, 1.3 m, many different ways to specify the distance. You can either specify a distance in percentage or in pixels or in EM. And there's another one, you can call it REM. You can say 1.3 REM. Whichever way, whichever one is you prefer. So the height, you can use the height. There's an height field, CSS field too. There's a text align CSS property, there's a box shadow, there's a cursor, there's a display, there's overflow, and so on and so forth. There are actually 4 ways to add CSS rules to your website. Inserting the code in the style tag. This is the inline styling. So referencing an external CSS file. This is how to reference it, and this is how you call it from an external file, which we did, like creating a CSS file outside your HTML file. Then using the attributes, that's inline style, that's inline styling, which you use. And we can use JavaScript, which we will also, this is something that you guys would get familiar with later. But these 3 are the major ones that we're going to cover. So CSS selectors, let's start by changing the background color, the div. You can say background color and it will change to red, the body as well. Then CSS selectors, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to start by showing you how it works practically. So first of all, I already showed you how internal styling works. And I'm going to show you how external styling works as well. So if you want to do you have to create a link first in your code. So to create a link in your code, you have to call a link tag after your title. Say link. So like so. So if you say link, so you have to call your particular CSS file, which is this style.css. So if you say style.css, if I save this and I copy this particular styling and I cut it, let me paste it in my CSS file. Let me save this and I refresh. It's basically going to do the same thing because it's an external styling and both works. Anyone works actually. So inline styling as well. You can do an inline styling like style. You can call it style attributes and give it a value of background, or let me say color, and call it blue. If I save this and I comment this one out, it's still going to work. It's still going to work. So whichever method it's they all work the same way. So we have different ways to style each element. Let me comment this out. Let me answer this. So if you want to for example, we have a particular element here. We have a p tag and it has a class of first name. So to create a selector, that's where the term selector comes in. So the notation to use for classes, to target a class in a particular element, is you have to add a dot, then the particular first name, then you're going to open it in curly braces. You have to open it curly braces because it's close the curly braces as well. So you have to, if this is this particular CSS character is targeting just this particular class, because obviously this is the class name and we're targeting just we're targeting that particular class name, first name. So if I want to style this, I can call it I can call probably the color property and say maybe I want to change the color to brown. If I save this, I refresh, you can see that my name is Rahman, which is that particular element is styled brown. So if I want to, if I have multiple things I want to style brown, I can decide to do that as well. Maybe I can call this maybe first name as well. Just for example, if I call this first name, it's going to, you see that this changes to brown as well because we're targeting that particular class name. So you can target IDs as well. If you want to target IDs, for example, you have an ID of orange here. So the only difference between targeting an ID and targeting a class is the way you call the selectors. If you want to call these selectors for IDs, you use the hash and the particular ID name. So this ID is called orange. If I want to call orange, I'll say hash orange instead of saying dot orange. Dot is used for classes whereby hash is used for IDs. So if I want to say orange, I'll say color and say orange. If I save this and I refresh, you see that it has changed to orange because we're targeting this particular ID and we're styling it orange. And we can also style the particular tag, the element name. We can style them as well. So if you have like div, for example, let me comment this out and say I want to style my divs and say I want to call color. I want to change the color to, let me say green, and I save this. You see that all the particular element that has the div is going to be styled that particular color. You can see orange and apple are styled green. So there are different ways you can style your elements. You can do margins too. So I want to do a margin styling. I want to use the universal annotator. So I'll just say margin. So the margin is the distance between a particular border and the outside element. So if I give this a margin, if I give the entire page a margin of say 20 pixels, you see the major difference now. If I refresh it, you see that there's like a margin between everything on the page. So between the actual beginning, the origin of the page and the each of the elements, there's a particular margin, and between each of the values too, there's like a margin. So that's what margin actually does. Padding is similar, but the major differences between a padding and a margin is padding is like the distance between the margin, the distance between the border, sorry. The padding is the distance between a border and the element, where in on the other hand, the margin is the distance between the border and the outside parent or the origin. So for example, let me show you an example so that it can be clear. So let me create a div. Let me create a new div. So if I create a div, and I call it, and I give it a class of let me give it a class of container, and I save it, and let me style the container. So if I want to call the container class, I'm going to say container, and I'm going to open this tag. So let me give it a height of 100. Let me give a height of 100 pixels. Let me give it a background color, say yellow. Let me give it okay, let me just save this so that I can see. So you can see this is I just created a container and I gave it a height of 100 pixels. So I want to give it a margin now. Sorry, a border, sorry. If I want to give it a border, I'll say 1 pixel solid. If I do 1 pixel solid black. So this 1 pixel it stands for, it means the width of the particular border. This solid means the style of the border, and this black means the color of the border. If I save this and I run this code, you can see that we already have a black tiny 1 pixel. It's because we specified that it's 1 pixel. That's why it's this small. If I change the width to say 3 pixels and I save this, you can see that the border is a bit thicker. So if I want to change this particular type of border, I can say probably dashed, because there's a dashed border, and I save it and I try to run it. You can see that the style of the border is different now. It's a bit more like it has space between them. So we can change the color as well. So you can see you can change it to probably red, something red. So if I refresh that, you can see it's red. So I'm just trying to show you that you can, that's how border works. So I'm just going to undo this. If I save that. Okay, so in this particular container, let me put a text. Let me put let me say today is Thursday. And I save it and I run it, you can see that today is Thursday. It's only the text is green because we already specified initially that the div, any content in a div, the color is supposed to be green. So let me just comment that out so that it won't confuse you. So okay, we already have the text in the container. So you can see how close the text is from the how close it is to the border. So this from here, you know the difference. I'm about to show you like the difference between the margin and the. So if you specify here that we want to have a margin of let's say 20 pixels, for example. If I run this, you can see that this is coming down a bit and it's giving it like space from the outside. It's giving it like an external space. So that's what margin basically does. But if on the other hand, I think padding does the exact opposite of what the margin does. So where margin is external, padding is internal. So if I comment this out and I give it like 20 pixel as well, and I save it, and I run this. So you can see that this is like an internal space. That's what padding does. Padding gives space to like the inside part of the element. It gives like space internally, whereby margin gives like the space to like from the outside. And you can use both as well. You can use both. Use both as well. So you can say 20 pixels. So this is the space, and you can specify. There's a thing you can do. You can tweak this around, whereby probably there could be a situation where you want to add like just you might not want to put like the space between this from year to year. You might want to change it to maybe something a bit smaller, maybe like 10 pixels, but you still want this to remain as 20 pixels. So what you can do is you can just say this margin, you can just say 10 pixels. In front of you, you can say 10 pixels, and so and say, okay, this one 20 pixels. I'm going to explain that in a bit. So if you refresh that, you can see that this one, it's like it went slightly upwards now because we already specified that, okay, we want this upper one to be like 10 pixels, and this one should still remain as 20 pixels. So what is happening here is whenever you specify two sizes for your margin like this, CSS sort of sees it like the first one you're doing is vertically and the second one you're doing is horizontally. So if you do something like this for padding as well. It works the same way for padding. So if you say 10 pixels vertically and say 20 pixels for horizontally, it will reduce the space vertically. So you can see that the space vertically has reduced, but the space between the border and the actual content horizontally is still the same way. So that's how CSS sees it. This first one as horizontal, and this second one, the first one as vertically, and the second one as horizontal. So you can specify for each of them as well. You can specify for each of them. If you want to say, okay, let's give it like different sizes, say 7 pixels, and this one, let's say, okay, let me just give this one 5 pixels, or let's say 7 pixels. No, let me just change it to like 15 pixels. So if you give it like, if you specify this is like this CSS sees something like this as a clockwise kind of thing. So if you CSS takes this as the top, so it starts from the top. If the way the clock is, it starts from the top, goes to the right, goes to the bottom, and goes to the left. So this is top, right, bottom, left. So you can sorry, top, right, trying to get top, right, bottom, left. So this is what's going on here. Top right, this is the top, this is the right, this is bottom and left. In this situation, we have just the vertically, what you call, horizontal. So if I'm going to comment this. So this is like a vertical and horizontal. Vertical and horizontal styling. And if you specify all the four, so it's going to see it as top, right, bottom, and left. Right, bottom, and left. So if I save this, basically it has actually added the padding appropriately the way I specified. So here we have, the top has 10 pixels and the right has 7 pixels. You might not be able to see them, but that's what is happening. 10 pixels, and you can specify this for the margin as well. So whichever way you can do that. Does anybody have any question before I move on? Any question?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this container,
Yes.
does it belong to any of the class or?
Yes, this is the class. This is where I called the container.
Okay,
Here.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I see it. Because I was wondering that where the container
no. I
just came
created a
from.
class for
Okay, all right, okay.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So does anyone have any other question before I move on? So yeah, we created a class container. We can call it an ID too as well. They have the ID and the
Hello,
only
sir.
different. Yes.
Well, okay. You said something about generic styling, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this
Okay, so like the generic styling is just styling it will encompasses everything.
everything on your page. You just want to do like a generic styling kind of thing instead of like calling. Maybe you want to make this my name is Rahman, like a particular color, and
Okay.
this orange the same color, and apple the same color, and hello world. Instead of you specifying each of the classes and say this class, this particular class, this class, and say you want each of them to be blue, you can just do that generic styling and make everything blue on your page rather than just come. And most of the time, the situations where they use it most of the time is when they want to probably just use one particular font for the page. You get.
Okay.
So if you have
Yes.
like, if you want to say like, if I want my page to have like just a particular font size, okay, let me just say font size, and I can just, if I want to maybe use 14 pixels for everything on my page, and I refresh this, you can see everything now is a bit smaller and they have the same size. Can you see all the text and everything has the same size? The orange, apple, today's stores, everything has the same size. If you want to use the same font family for them, so you can say font family. So you can use anyone here. Let me use Times New Roman, and I save this. I refresh it. You can see that the style, the font family has changed. So that's what the this generic um asterisk is for. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So moving on, we have other CSS properties. For example, we have border radius. Border radius. You want to have like, you want the container to look a bit round. You can give it like a border radius of 15 pixels. Let me save this and refresh. Can you see? You see that the edges have like a bit round look. You can, if you want it to look like a bit more round, you can add like maybe 50, like maybe 85 pixels. For example, if I refresh, you can see that it's looking a bit round now. Even though it's ugly, but then still like we're achieving what we want to do. We want to make it a bit more round. So that's just the major that's just the major work of the border radius. Sorry, can you Rahman, can you mute your mic? Okay, so that's what border radius does. So there are different other properties, CSS properties. So we'll look into them. So we have CSS selector, whereby you can select the element, the tag, the element, the class inside of it. So this is what they did here. So we have a p tag. It's calling a p tag dot intro. So situations like this, let me show you an example. We have a p tag and probably call it class of intro, and we say this is a, and I save this. So if I say so if I want to style that, and I want, probably there's another situation where the main use of this p, if I do p dot intro and I say, okay, color, say yellow, or let me say red, red, and I save this and I refresh. So this is a paragraph. So the main use of this p dot intro is because of situations where we can have another class that has the intro class as well, maybe like intro as well, and we say this is intro, or this is first paragraph. Okay, and I save this. So sorry, let me give it another tag. Let me say h1, or let me say h4, h3. Okay, so let me call it h3. So if I save this, you'd see that it's not styling this particular one because it doesn't have the p tag. So that's just the major thing. It's just to differentiate between these two things. So if I leave it as just intro, you see that both of them will now be styled because they now have the tag and there's nothing differentiating them from each other. So obviously, that's just what this selector does. It's calling that particular element first, and the intro, any class that has the intro. I can, if I call only just the P as well, it's going to start all the elements that has the P tag, which is not what we're trying to achieve. So if I refresh this, it's going to look for, okay, I think I already started this before. Okay, so first name. So if I remove this, you see that it's going to style all the P tag. Now they both have the color, and we're trying to just achieve that. Okay, this is a paragraph. This is the only thing we want to style. So that's why we're specifying that. Okay, we want to have that same annotation that, okay, we call the element and the class. So yeah, so that's basically what that does. So moving on. So there are different ways you can do it. You can see this is like calling the tag name, which we've done. I've shown you. We can style by the tag name. We can style by the element name, and the you can style by the tag name as well, and the class name. So this is what they did here, and I think that's same thing we did when we we're trying to style the intro. So we can do the same thing for IDs. The same thing we just did, but the only difference is just to change the intro to an ID and just style it by calling the tag first and the ID. So two dots. These two dots, it's a behavior that you can use to style different things like the over. So I'm going to show you how that works. So let's do for intro. Maybe, okay, let me just do for intro. So if you want to add an over property or a over property to the intro, I'm going to say intro. I can either say intro, or I can just call the P an intro if it's this particular one I want to style. But I'm just trying to style both intros. These both classes that are called the intro, so that's why I called the intro class first. So I'm going to add a column. You can see, so I already added a column. So after the column, we're going to say over, like this. So we're going to open the tag like this. So if you say over, so what this is saying is that you're trying to style this anytime you over on it. So what do you want to, what feature do you want to add to this element if you over on it? What behavior do you want it to have when you over on it? That's basically what this over, the column and the over does. So if you say you want to change the color, let me just say color. I want to change it to let me say let me look for another color. Let me change the color to like maybe okay, this is not supposed to be, okay, let me just use both. So if you over on, if I save this and check, so if you over on each of these, you can see I'm overing on this, so the color changed. So that's just the effect the over has. So it changes the color whenever you over on it. I want to probably add another thing, maybe say background color. Let me change the background color to like aqua. If I save this and I refresh, so if I over on it, you can see it already has a new background color of over, like it already has the background color and the color itself. So that's just basically what that does. So let me see. There's another HTML tag I want to show you guys, and that's because I want to use it as I want to style it as well in CSS. So let me create like a div, for example, and the tag is called marquee. So the marquee tag basically just highlights a text and makes it move in a particular direction. Just as you see in like some websites that you see some text that are moving. So that's basically what MarkU does. So if you let me just look for a text and copy them. Let me say cars, car, car, or something. So let me copy this entire text and paste it. If I paste this here and save it and I run this, so you can see that this is, I'm sure you've seen something like this in like different websites. Probably you're just seeing like a text that is like moving. So that's probably what the what's going on there. So there are different attributes for it. So you can have like the behavior attributes and you have the direction. So you can change the direction as well. Say let's say direction to the right. I think I'm not sure if it's direction, but okay, yeah. So you can change it to right, you can change it to left. So whichever direction you want. I think it just depends on whatever you want. So um you can give it like a particular background as well. Say marquee. You can style the element from here. Marquee is a background. Let me just give it like wow. So you can see that he has a particular background color. So you can add background images too. You can add images to your background. Say let me look for another picture. Let me look for let me just look for wallpapers. Okay, I think I like this one. So let me save this. Save as. So let me just call it BG. Okay, it's an AVF file, but you can still use it actually. So if I save this and I go back to my code, so I'm trying to make this the background color. Don't know, it might be too much if I use that background color for this marquee because it has a really small space. So let me just look for a container I can use for it. So I can just give this a class, say marquee container. So if I'm giving this a class of marquee container, I'm just going to call the class, sorry, marquee container. So let me give it a height. Let me give it a height of say 100 pixels. Control save and let me so I already have a background image here. So you have a BG background image here. So we're trying to give it a background. So to give this particular container, this particular marquee container, sorry, it's supposed to be marquee double. So if I want to give it that particular background, I'll say background. Sorry, it's not supposed to be background color, it's supposed to be background. So background. So if you want to add an image to it, what you do is you call a URL. So there's a particular property you can add to it, to this background. You can call it URL. So this URL simply means that you're trying to use your background from a particular part in your file. Is either your file from online or a particular link from somewhere. You can either use a file part or a link. So here I'm trying to use like a link, a file part from the pictures I have in my files. So I'm going to say that BG AVF like this. And if I save this and I refresh, okay, it's not coming up yet. Save it. Okay. So I think I should increase the height. Sorry, I made a mistake here. I wasn't supposed to add the part. I wasn't supposed to add the slash because it's directly inside the folder I'm on. So I don't need to add the slash to it. So it's already in the particular folder I'm in. So I'm going to increase this height to like say 200 pixels so that it can be like a bit bigger. So you can see that we already have like a background image and it's still, everything is still inside that particular tag. So that's the beauty of CSS. It helps you add a particular background image to what you have. You can even add the background image to this entire body of what you are doing. So I can add this particular thing. I can comment this out. Let me copy it first. Copy this and I say I comment this out. Then I want to add it to my body. I can call the body and open this and I paste this here. And I save and I refresh. You can see that the background is already like body is at the the body has the background color already. So you can see that the background color we have here now has multiple. It's like it broke the image into two and it's like repeating it twice. So there's a CSS property you can add to that to make sure that it's not repeating itself. So we can say background repeats. There's a background repeat property you can add. So you can say no repeat. So you save that and I refresh. You see it's not repeating itself, but it's still not doing what we want. We want it to cover the entire screen. So what we can do is background position. We can say center and we can say background size. You can set it to cover. So you should cover your entire screen and it should be at center as well. So if I save this and I run it, so you can see. So even if it's slightly blurred, but it's at least covering the entire page now. It's blurred because it's not the same size. The image is not the same size as our web page, but obviously it's not stuff again. We've been able to achieve all. So yeah, that's that about background images. So I'm going to still leave this as background image for that particular element class. Sorry. So if I save this, it's just the way it was before on this. So yeah. So I just wanted to show you guys how background images work and how you can style your background image. You can add CSS properties of background cover, background position, and background repeat. So if you want to add a background, you add a URL to it. So also, moving on, does anybody have a question?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please, the MAQ attributes that you just explained, can I just see the code? I want to just see how it's.
All right.
Just-
Here. So I just copied this. Let me make it big. So can you see? So you have a mark, you have a behavior, you have a direction. There are different types of behavioral property.
Yeah, okay, we'll give you direction. Okay.
Yeah, you can give it direction, but the default is from the left. So even if you don't specify these two attributes and you leave it like this, it's still going to work because it has default attributes and it comes from the left normally, but you can just change the direction to I just manually change the direction to the
Okay.
right. So the way it was earlier, direction is to the right. So just to make it easier.
Okay, sir.
So is there any other question? Okay, so So moving on, so yeah, we already did the over selector and I showed you guys how it works. We have a selector as well that has this greater than character, which if you want to select only element that are direct child of one element, not that not that an ancestor will with that rule use the greater than character. So you can see ul menu li. So for example, maybe if you want to style a particular item under a particular parent tag. So example of something like that is an ordered list and an unordered list. So if you have an unordered list and we're saying um um one, okay, let me just say apple, then orange, um and banana. So if you want to style this particular one, you might even have more than one, or if you want to just say, okay, you can have two another list. If I save this and refresh, okay, so we have both of them here. So if you want to style probably this first one differently and you don't want to style the second one, what you can do is you can give this a class of first one, and so what I'll do in my style sheet is I'll say sorry, I'm going to call the ul first, ul, then dot what was the name again? First one. So I'm going to say dot first one. I'm going to use that greater than annotation, and I'm going to say li. So this is just used to call like the child tag. So this is like the parents, and this is me specifying that this is the particular UL I want to call. So that's why they have their own classes or their IDs. Basically, it's even better to use ID because it is unique. So let me just use IDs instead because it is unique. I'm not going to call it multiple times again. It's just good. It's just meant to be for just this list item, this particular list. So let me just use IDs. So I'm going to change this dot to hash because it's used for IDs. So if I want to style that, I can just say color. I can give it a color, any color I want. I can call it chocolate. Refresh that. So you can see that it's only the first one I styled. It's not the first one. So if I was to remove this first one now, can anybody tell me what will happen if I remove this first one? The ID of the first one. What do you think will happen? Anyone?
Can you please repeat the question? I don't.
Like if I remove this first one on this, if I remove this first one selector and I just leave it like this and I save it, what do you think will happen?
Like both of like the first and second will be colored.
If I just
Color.
run this now, I've already removed that first one. So
Yeah, yeah.
like
So both of it will be color chocolate or something. Yes.
yeah. So if you run this now, you can see that both of them has it. So the main thing,
So
the main reason why we're adding that ID is just to specify that this is the particular one we want to style rather than just style the both of them. So
so
yeah, so you can see that we already have this first one styled. So moving on. So we have the display as well. We have basically different types of display. We have the flex display, we have the block display, we have the inline display, we have the inline block display, and we have the grid display. So this display is just how you want different types of elements to be like positioned, or the both would be like aligned in like their own space. So it is important to understand how the browser arranges the elements on the screen. Check this tutorial. Okay. It's just a tutorial for you to understand how this works. So yeah, as you can see here, we have, can you see my browser screen? So you can,
Yes, we can.
all right. So you can see the display block, you can see the inline, you can see the inline block, you can see the display of flex, you can have the inline flex, you can have the grid, inline grid, and the flow route. So there are different types of displays, but we're going to try and cover some of them so that you can understand how the display works. So okay, let me just go back to the slide. So in this situation, we have a block display. Block display basically means that these elements are supposed to have, they're supposed to be on their own. We have basically the elements we have in HTML, they are on default. Some are default, they have default display of inline, some have a default display of block. So it depends. So we we can check from most of our tags. I'm sure div tag, if we're going to say div, if we say div, we say hello, and we call another div again, say hello again. And I save this, you can see that if I refresh my page, you can see that both of them are starting from this different line. They're not like repeating themselves like again and again. Also with a p tag, I think those are like, so if any tag is making an element, is any tag or any element is displaying on its own and it's not repeating itself, that's making it be it means that particular element is a block, default block element. So div is actually a block element. If we have like a p tag, I'm sure p tag as well is a block element because it stands on its own. So if I say p tag and I say hello, and you can see it's already standing on its own. So and so on like that. So we have another tag, say section, the section tag. So you can see section as its own, it's on its own as well. And it's a block element as well. So if you say span, we call span tag span. So and I call span again. I'm sure span is an inline element. If I save this, you can see they're like basically on the same line. It's not like standing on its own. It's just basically on the same line. So they are inline elements. So the section tag is a block element. The p tag is a block element as well. The div tag is a block element. Bold tag, obviously it's an inline element too. So if I call bold, sure, it's, you can see they're all inline elements. They don't stand on their own. So that's basically what I mean by inline elements and block elements. Let me comment this out. So moving on, so you can definitely change that display. So this display means block. So obviously they're on their own. They're each of them are on their own lines. So horizontal, like in terms of their rows, they are on they stand on their own. So if you want to make these ones are inline, obviously. They lay side by side. So let me give you an example so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's say a div, have a div tag. Let me make this bigger. So div tag, let me open another div tag. So this I'm nesting a div inside a div, and I'm calling this, I'm giving this a class of let me call this uh, item. items, and I call this a class of I call this item, and I call this buyer, and let me grab the item. So let me change this to laptop. Change this to book. Change to pen. So if I want to start this now and change the display, so if normally if I run this, they are actually block elements by default. So even if I run it like say items, if I call items and I say display and I call the display property and I say block, you can see nothing happens because they are actually on block display normally. So if I say inline, I change this to inline, nothing happens because they are block elements by default. So if I change this to flex, you can see everything is like line by line. If I change, let's see what happens if I change this to inline block. Save this. You can see that they're basically block elements, so they cannot be changed. They can only be changed if it's like a flex display or something. So if I go back to this slide now and show you, so if I have a div and I have a display of inline block, if I have a display of inline block, it's supposed to create like a block around them. So it means they have a full O block, but they are still side by side. If I have a display of inline or just inline, they are side by side, but they are not blocks. They're just the way the elements are, but they're not in form of blocks. They're just displayed side by side. So if we check a block, okay, let's still focus on this display. So for each of the displays, there's a way to style them. So I'll just quickly touch a flex box and I'll let you guys see what, because I'm sure you guys have heard maybe like in CSS that like this flex box is what we call flex box. So if you say a display of flex basically just makes everything like it's either you want to flex it in a row. Basically, if you create a display and say it's a flex, it basically changes it to like a row. But you can specify if you want it to be column or a row. But obviously, if you say display flex, by default, it's going to make it by a row. So there are like different properties you can add to flex display. You can say gap. You can create a gap between them. You can create a gap of say 10 pixels. So if I say 10 pixel gap, you can see that it's already creating a gap between them. See 10 pixel gap between each of them. And there's a property called justify content as well. You might not be familiar with most of these properties, but with time, the more you practice, the more you understand how they work. So justify content basically it basically specify like where you want your element to be. But if to be able to use this justify content, you have to set your display to be flex. So if your display is not flex, then justify content will not work. So you have to if you want to justify content basically means like okay where you want this entire thing to be. You can say justify content. Say center. And you refresh this, you can see okay. This might be hard for you to see. Let me comment some of this code out. So if I refresh this, you can see that it's already at the center of the page. So if I want to I can say justify content to the end. I can either say end, start, or center. If I say end, it's going to be like at the end of the page, like this. There's another property you can use to center your items, especially like text items. Sorry, it seems like I'm trying to like let you know all the properties, but then I can just the ones I can remember in my head, I'm just trying to let you guys be familiar. I'm sure I won't cover everything because they're very much, but with time you get familiar with most of them. So I can decide to say, okay, my name is Raman. I want it to be at the center. I don't have to flex it or say I want to put like display flex. There's a property for text where you can actually just center them at within their block, within their element. So this first name, I can just say text align. Text align, and I'll say center. If I say text align center, definitely to be at the center of the page as well. And you can say you can change the position of the text. You can say text align. You can make it end as well. So instead of making it flex, you can just easily, if it's not like multiple elements, you can just basically use text align to just align them in that center or at the start of the text. You can use another way to like say you want to position it to the center, or you can say float. You can use the float property, but float is quite old. People normally don't use float anymore, but you can still use float. You say float to the right. If you use float to the right, you can see that it's actually at the right. But one thing float does is it carries the entire element, so it leaves it out of the line compared to what text align does. Text align just it still makes it like be that entire element. Can you see? It's not like enclosing the entire thing. Does anybody have any questions? Are we tired? Raman, are you there? Hello guys, are you there?
Yes, sir. We are with you, sir.
Okay. Do you want to take a break? Maybe we can come back like in 15 minutes.
Okay, I thought we are running up class like 6 because it's time for solar, it's time for prayer
Oh, okay,
now.
okay. All
So,
right
like, are we
then.
to come back or to Saturday?
Mr. Abbas.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. Let me.
Okay.
Mr. Abbas, are you there? Just hold on. Give me a moment.
Tommy, Alpha. Hello, Tommy. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They said, I don't know.
You said
They said they want to go for break now. So I don't know if
you are not. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me now?
It's very low. Your voice is very low.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So they said they want to go for prayer. So I don't know if we're coming back or we'll just.
We're not coming back. We're supposed to stop at 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You are enjoying
So
the class, Abi. I hope you are enjoying it.
I'm sure they did.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope we are all fine. I hope we're able to learn some things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see again on Saturday.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All
Thank you,
right, sir.
Tommy.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you.
All right. You can stop recording so that you get the file from.
All right. Thank you,
All
guys.
right. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, Raman. Thank you.